Welcome. See you on the Insight Timer app for our live interactive experience. Hi, Angela, and everyone. Welcome. Welcome. Oh, so great to see you all. Liz and Tom and so many. Welcome. Hey, Richard. Hey, Judy. Oh, so nice. What a treat. Welcome. Hi, Heike. Oh, so grateful to be together. Let's see here. What am I doing? I am making sure that we are connected, hardwired into the interwebs. Okay, good. Now we are. Welcome. We'll wait a few more moments. Hi, Diane. I saw you were joining. I saw your little profile picture. I was like, oh, yay. Long time. Oh, wonderful, Judy. I'm so glad. I know the sound, there were just so many technical difficulties, which I'm getting sorted uh, to the best uh, to the best of my ability. She's not at home, and so she's limited in terms of what equipment she has. But I'm working it out so that that loud static sound, that sound of her computer fan, isn't there anymore. Thanks so much for joining. Oh, happy birthday, beautiful. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Mwah, happy birthday. This is going to be a great session for a birthday. I'm really looking forward to what we're diving into today. All right. Hi, Davy. If you haven't said hi already, feel free to say hi in the chat. Always such a joy to connect. All right. Yee. Birthday blessings. Great. Okay, let's begin. Warm welcome. My name is Selena Layel. This is our weekly satsang, which we usually have a day earlier, but due to a scheduling mistake on my part, it's today. Grateful, very grateful to be here together today. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Richard. Oh, thank you, beloved. And thank you for your presence. Thank you. So we meet every week for live sessions. I lead yoga asana. I lead these satsangs where we come together, and I have many recordings on the app. I have two courses. One is called Yogic Practices for a Peaceful Life. It is other yogic practices aside from asana, the physical postures. And another course, Awaken My Heart, a guide to living with self-love. And so much recorded content that's available. Oh, great, Davy. Great. Yeah, you're going to want to be able to write for this one if possible. We have a group on the app called Love Heals All. It's a beautiful community space. I invite you to join us there. And feel free to share there. It's a place for us to share things, to uplift each other, but also to share if we're going through a rough patch. Community is absolutely invaluable, especially now at this time on the planet for many reasons. So come be there, reach out, share your light, receive light, receive love, and let us support each other in community. All right. I think that is pretty much it. Grateful for your donations always, for your support. Grateful for your presence, for your love, for you. And if you are not watching today on Insight Timer, I invite you to come over to the Insight Timer app so that you can be part of this interactive experience. Okay, let's start by taking a moment to settle. How's our sound? I just realized I have this fan very close to that mic. Can you hear me well? Nice and free from background noises? Okay, great. Thanks, Angela. Great. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so I invite you to close the eyes, sit for a moment if possible, roll one shoulder up, back, and down, and the other shoulder up, back, and down. And actually, before we close the eyes, let's open the eyes, bring the palms to touch. We'll start with the centering technique. This is just a foundational technique that I can't recommend enough to use at the start of your day, at the start of a meeting, the start of anything. It's just a wonderful thing to use, and not just at the beginning of something, although it's a great way to prepare. Use it as many times as you like all throughout the day, just to come back to center, maybe to feel a little more calm, a little more mental clarity, maybe a little more emotional ease. Just use it again and again as you wish. Palms touch at the heart center, and if you can't move your body, you can just imagine this. Take a slow, deep breath in as you reach your right arm all the way up, and the bottom hand comes down by the navel, but the fingers point up. Straighten the upper arm if you can. Exhale slowly, like you're moving through honey, to come all the way back to the heart where your palms touch in front of the heart. Inhale the left arm all the way up, the right hand by the navel. Open the chest. Exhale slowly all the way back to the heart. One more time on the right side. Inhale the right arm all the way up. Straighten the arm if you can. The left hand is by the navel. All fingers point up. Exhale slowly. Soften your body as you come back to center. And then just pause here. Close the eyes. Feel your palms touching. Feel your sternum, that bone in the center of the chest, lifting up into your thumbs. And notice this sense of maybe presence. Maybe there's a sense of slowing down or being more aware of your body. Relax the hands down. Palms face upward. Let's take this receptive posture for these next few minutes together. Inhale slowly and deeply. Pause and hold the breath. Exhale slowly and completely until all of the air has been released. Inhale deeply, fill the belly, the rib cage with breath. Pause and hold the breath. Exhale, slowly release. Inhale. Pause and hold. Relax the body. Exhale. Take a few more breaths like this. If there's any discomfort or strain, I invite you to release that. There's no need to hold the breath if that causes any kind of tension inside. Just a couple more breaths like this. Feel yourself settling. Maybe you feel your body becoming heavier, your mind a little more present. One more breath like this. And then just breathe naturally. Notice if anything has shifted inside. And when you're ready, open the eyes. Mm, Thank you. Welcome, Maureen. I'm so grateful to be with you today. Okay, so I'd like to start us off today reading a page and a half from Ma's new book. For anyone who's newer to our time together, I've been studying with my beloved teacher, Sai Ma, for over 20 years. And this is the newest book that Ma has written. And I'm just loving it and love sharing pieces of it for us to reflect on. It's called Conscious Living by Her Holiness Sai Ma. Really, really lovely book. Conscious Living, the Power of Embracing Your Authentic You. Yeah. So I invite you to have the eyes opened or closed and just let's just take this in. This is titled Dive Deep into Yourself. When true joy, peace, satisfaction, and love are revealed in your universe, you will have a whole different vision of the world. You may even pretend to be angry while feeling bubbling joy and serene love. To experience love and joy, remember only one thing: dive deep into yourself. The inner treasures belong to you. No one, absolutely no one, can take away these treasures from you because they are the attributes of the power of the higher self. These blessings will appear naturally in your daily life. Then all you will be able to do is give. Your heart will bathe in divine abundance, which flows powerfully in the universe. You will be drunk in ecstasy because this state of abundance is the very nature of God or Source. This bliss, this ecstasy, is engraved in each one of your atoms. Expand your vision to experience a supreme, divine, abundant, graceful consciousness, and everything will be given to you. To experience the divine, avoid distractions because you cannot have both. You can have one or the other. By creating this space, you will receive everything without even asking. Thus, will you contribute by transcending this world, all while participating in its activities and assuming its ordinary material responsibilities. Maintain your attention on the self. Always stay centered. This world can be glorified by the grace of the self. For that to come about, choose non attachment to daily distractions. Sometimes I observe you. You dream about elevating yourself to the nobility of your higher self, and yet you stay surrounded by people with lower consciousness, people who often want to control and manipulate you. Determine whether these people are motivated by artificial values. Instead of being influenced, stay strong and step into your sadhana, daily spiritual practice, without fear. This path requires constant attention and awareness to allow you to discern the appropriate choices and to make radical changes. Go within yourself. When you come back home after a day of work, keep silent. Don't do too much. At that moment, dive in to find the treasures inside you. Nourish your mind with supreme truth. Taste the divine presence and be in love with Source. If you love your spiritual master, consider that person as the most beloved being. Then you will see the illusions of the mind burn in the fire of your practice. I find that very timeless wisdom and timely because I've been in a cycle lately where um, I've been feeling how to even say it, kind of like in between worlds, like in the world of the mundane life responsibilities and in the world of surrendering to however you'd like to think of it, source, self, the supreme self, God, just surrendering and letting go. And in this dance, I've been finding myself really getting distracted. Now, I know some of us hear the word distracted and detachment, and we think about, like, oh, do I have to become an ascetic and give up everything to be in my spiritual path? No, I believe, and I know that Saima comes from a path. Well, I won't speak for Ma, but I do from all the years of studying with Ma find that there is definitely an element of the path of Tantra here, which is not having to leave the worldly experiences to awaken, but to be in the world, but not of the world. So, in this context, when it's saying to, you can only have one or the other, I think it means I can only be lost. I can only be lost watching hours a day of Grey's Anatomy, which is a hospital drama series for anyone who's not familiar with that name. I can only be lost in that and not really be fully in the other experience. Meaning we choose one or the other. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not still in my spiritual path. It doesn't mean that I'm not still meditating and doing everything that I've been doing. It doesn't mean that we can't use certain experiences to ease us through challenges. It's not saying anything is bad or good. However, the time that I spend watching Grey's Anatomy, I could be spending in silence. I could be spending feeding my spirit. I could be spending feeding my mind with more spiritual knowledge. And that would take me deeper. I know it would. Now, I feel very blessed and very grateful to have had the amazing teachers I have. And I also know there's great value in just kind of turning off sometimes, like watching something or reading something for pleasure. And again, I do know that I would experience greater freedom and peace regularly if I was choosing to spend those hours in stillness, self reflection, or my different sadhana techniques, as opposed to being in the emotional turmoil of Grey's Anatomy. Now, I also just want to say one other thing on this, and that is there, checking out sometimes is also how we reset and regulate sometimes, checking out, So sometimes there's great value in just, whatever, reading a book or watching a movie or just staring at the wall. Sometimes that's really valuable for our journey of integration and healing. So again, this isn't to say that anything is good or bad, right or wrong. It's just awareness. What am I putting my attention on? How is that feeding my spirit? How is that nourishing my soul? How is that uplifting my relationship with my beloved higher self, with Source? Hi, Liz. Grateful to have you here as well. So beautiful. I love all the love everyone shares with each other. Yeah, Liz is sharing it's hard for me to find the balance. Absolutely. And I would say something that can be helpful is rather than trying to find the balance, maybe just check in about what you're committed to. What is most important for you? And this isn't about self judgment. This is just about like really having some generous, compassionate inquiry. What's most important to me? What do I value the most in my life? What what is most important for me? Which relationship in my life is the most important for me to nourish? And some of you might say, well, I can't choose myself over, my children or my partner. And I would invite you to just remember this, old adage that we can't really take care of someone else if we're not taking care of ourselves first. So I hear that, Liz. So I would just kind of be in that gentle inquiry around what's most important to me, what am I most committed to? And then rather than thinking about it like balance, just make sure if you are committed to your spiritual evolution, to your awakening, then make sure there are things every single day in your life that you're doing to nourish that. You know what I mean? Like, rather than trying to make it some kind of 50-50 balance or more spiritual, less checking out, how can you just make sure that you are committed to your sadhana in some way each day? And again, sadhana is this term in Sanskrit that means like daily spiritual practice. And of course, you're not alone in that. Yes. Any other thoughts or shares on that before we move forward in our experience here together, because I have some fun stuff for us to dive into. Okay, wonderful. Angela's sharing, I put a little post-it note on my sun visor that says me as a daily reminder. Beautiful. Just draw a little heart next to it for me, okay? Me with a heart. Oh, I love you. Isn't it good to be loved? Isn't it so good when we actually start to let love in a little? I know it's difficult. I know it can be scary and painful, but it's just such the sweetest nectar to allow love in. And I'm not talking about romantic love, although it could show up that way in your life, but I'm talking just about that sweetness of love. Not manipulation, not if you loved me, you'd do the dishes or buy me dinner, or you wouldn't be late. But love in its essence, this amrit, this nectar of the heart, of the soul. Mm. Then put 10 hearts on it. I love it. It's great. Be weird, because the more that we do things, maybe there are people in our lives who will, maybe the people at the truck shop, they'll see that me with a heart. They'll think it's weird. They'll judge it. But you don't know what seeds are being planted or watered in someone's subconscious when you let yourself be you. It's kind of like that terrific Marianne Williamson quote where she says something along the lines of, um, being vulnerable gives other people permission to be vulnerable. And it's kind of the same thing in a sense. When we allow ourselves to be authentic, it gives other people permission to be authentic. And maybe they don't even realize they want to be more authentic, but it plants a seed or waters a seed. Yeah, Richard. Okay, let's continue on today. So I invite you to have a journal or a pad of paper, ideally something that you can actually write with as opposed to typing, if possible. I busted out my long time gratitude journal that I've been writing in since. I keep coming back to this one. Sometimes I take long pauses. The first entry in this gratitude journal is from 2018, March of 2018. It's been 5 years I've been adding to this baby. It feels kind of like a treasure chest, treasure. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, look at all of these pages of Words upon words upon words of gratitude and conscious creation. And that's what we're going to do today. Ah. Okay. So many of you have heard me speak on this technique that I love to do, and we're going to do it together today. So, one of the reasons that I wanted to do this exercise together today is because of the cycles we get into at times where we feel stuck. Go ahead and drop an emoji in the chat if you can relate to any of these things. Feeling stagnant or stuck, feeling stagnant because you don't know what's going to happen next, feeling afraid of the future, feeling unsure about what to do next in your life, feeling unsure about what you think you want, thinking that you can't have what you want. I mean, come on, if not everyone is dropping an emoji here, right? Then we know someone's maybe keeping a secret. Yeah. Okay. So this is why we're doing this today because of this. Many of you are very familiar with this idea already that our thoughts really, um, our thoughts and emotions determine our life experience. Okay, I see your emoji, your word emoji. Uh, let's see here. It's good to lose your train of thought. Reminds one to breathe. So let's take a breath together. The mind and the emotions really determine the quality of life. And you could say, well, no, Selena, it's your physical health that determines your quality of life. But there are people who have so many things they navigate physically, but they're in such a profound mindset of positivity or gratitude that they don't see what they're going through physically as a hindrance. Or there are people who've had who do have so many physical challenges in their life, whether it's related to money or relationships or whatever it is, but you meet someone who's in a situation like that with a certain type of inner world, certain type of programming and training in their mind and emotions. And although they might feel things are challenging at times, they experience the richness of life, even in the face of challenges, or the beauty of life, or the sweetness of life, even in the face of the challenges. But what many of us do, myself included at times, is we allow these unconscious patterns in our minds and emotions to determine our how we're feeling, to determine our experience of our lives. For example, um, let's say right now I'm in a transition period where I'm kind of at a fork in the road and I don't know if this is going to happen or not, and I don't know if this is going to happen or not. And so I'm kind of just stuck in between the two in indecision. And I could start having all of these thoughts about the problem and the fear that I have and the anxiety I have around it and feeling unsure and a lack of confidence and feeling stuck, right? I could just go on and on and on and on with these really painful thoughts, challenging thoughts, thoughts that make me feel really contracted. Or I could step back and I could say, okay, I don't have control over this situation. I recognize there's fear there. And oh my goodness, look at my life. Look at how fortunate I am. Look at this beautiful relationship I have, and this beautiful relationship. Look at this food I have. Look at this healthy body I have. Look at this beautiful place I get to visit. Look at this wonderful thing I have in my home. There's so many things I could be grateful for, but because I'm thinking these thoughts and I'm in this mental pattern of thinking about this situation and how I'm afraid and I don't know and this and that, that is how I'm experiencing my life. Is this clear for everyone? It's not necessarily the circumstances that determine our experience of life. It's how we're responding to the circumstances. Okay, great. So, what many of us do when we are in the experience of those emojis that you dropped, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I want. I'm not sure. I feel afraid. I feel stuck. I feel stagnant. What do we do? Tell me this. When you're in that kind of a place that I just described, what kind of thoughts are you having? Just share a couple of thoughts, not like long streams of consciousness, but just share a couple of thoughts. What are the kinds of thoughts you're having if you're feeling stuck, stagnant, you're not sure, you don't know, you feel anxious? What kind of thoughts are you having? Fearful thoughts? Doubting the self? Absolutely. Can I do this? Right? There's that doubt again. I'm never going to get out of it, right? That it might never get better? Absolutely. Anxious? And let's be clear, my friends. No one can help me. Low self esteem, worry. Yes, absolutely. Although some of these experiences are also emotions, let's be clear that this is what your mind is thinking in that moment of distress. I'm all alone. Everything everyone's been saying, right? So, have you ever heard the teaching that you can't create something new from something old? Obviously, this does not apply to gardening and compost, but you can't create something new from something old, or better yet, you can't create something new from the same old consciousness of what the old thing was created from. So, for example, let's say that I really want somebody say something in the chat. What is something you really want? Just one thing. I'll just say the first thing that pops up. What is something you really want? Travel. Okay, ready? So I'm just going to use that. Thank you. If I really want to travel, is it going to be easy for me to create travel if I come from the old frame of mind that says it's not possible? I don't have the money. I don't have the time off. I don't feel confident traveling alone. I don't have a partner to travel with. I don't really have what I need. It's never going to work out. How easy is it going to be for me to create a life of more travel if that is my mindset? Can you see this? I will probably not even open my internet browser to search for something or someplace I want to travel to when I'm in that state of mind. I've already defeated myself. Hi, Rosita. Oh, lovely. Lovely. Right? So, and we're kind of playing with contrast here. Yes. The idea is that there's something we want that we don't have. And many of us will continue to think about the thing that we want from the place of, I don't have it. We'll continue to think about the thing that we want from a mindset of lack, therefore, encouraging the continuation of the thoughts that say, I don't have it, I won't, it will never be, I'm alone, I'm afraid. Can you see the picture that I'm painting here, my friends? And can you see how you have maybe done this in your life? Yeah, feel free to just throw some hearts if you feel me here. You can also share emojis too if you wish. So, we cannot create something new from the same old patterns and ways of being that we were living in. We must create something new, something fresh inside. Yes. And let's come back to this example that I'm using of my own life, which has some truth in it, or some, yeah, we'll say some truth in it. Let's say that here I am. I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm in kind of this state of limbo and I'm afraid. I'm afraid if I go this way, it's not going to work out. I'm afraid if I go this way, it's not going to work out. I'm afraid that I don't have what I need to make either option work. I feel stuck. I feel stagnant. There's this sense of like, oh, I don't even know what to do. What can I even do? And I get to that point where I don't even know how to take any actions because I'm so much in that state of stagnancy and the fear of things not working out. We're coming back to this example here, yes? Can I create something new? Let's think about it this way. Do you think that I'm able to access the power of my creativity when that's my mental and emotional state? Do you think I'm able to access the power of my creativity when I'm in that mental state? Right. No. Do you think I'm able to access the power of my imagination, which is similar? The power of the possibility to imagine the life that I want. Do you think I can do that from that mental and emotional state? No. Do you think that I am able to access a feeling of confidence or empowerment within myself to be able to create the life that I want when I'm feeding those thoughts and emotions? No, right? We know where this is going. We get it. We get it. No, I'm going to stay stuck in that same place of stagnancy, fear, inaction, feeling alone, feeling like I'm not supported by God, source, the universe, my own soul, right? I'm going to continue to feel that way as long as I feed that. Yeah, and there's absolutely an element of looping there, right? So, what we're doing today is we're opening the power of the imagination. Your imagination is so beautiful. And you might say, well, I can't imagine things, but you can and you do all of the time. Some of us just imagine scary scenarios or things like this, but each of us has this higher mental faculty of imagination. And imagination is one of the most powerful inner resources that you have to create the things you want in your life. So, where we're going to start today is with some gratitude and then just waking up our imaginations. Let's do one little imagination exercise first to kind of get things fired up. So, go ahead and close your eyes, or you can have your eyes open, actually, either way, but it might be easier to imagine with your eyes closed. And now, picture an apple. Picture an apple. Now, some of us, we saw. Well, actually, I'd love to play with this for just a moment. Then we're going to dive into the exercise for the rest of our time. Share what you saw in the chat. Just give me the details of what you saw. I'm just going to read a few of them and then we'll move on. What did you see in the chat? A red apple, right? And be specific. Like, what did you see in your mind when you say a red apple? Was it just like a red circle? Did it have anything else around it or like on it, connected to it? Maybe like a stem or a leaf, shiny, a red apple in the palm of the hand, a Macintosh upside down in the bowl. Great, Lynn. Great, everybody. But this, you'll see where I'm going with this. A red apple with a green leaf. Okay, great, great. Thank you, friends. So this is where we can start to play with our imaginations. Many of us don't use our imaginations the way that we did when we were kids, as most of us did. Maybe not everyone, depending on our environment. Yes. Many of us today, we just saw kind of like your basic apple. Some of us saw a little more detail, but it was just kind of like a red or green apple, right? Maybe a leaf, maybe a stem. But there's so much more we could see. When you imagine that apple, you might imagine the texture of it. Is it smooth? Is it waxy? Is it a little rough from where it has a little scratch on it? Are there little marks on it from where a little insect might have crawled inside? Did it have a stem? What color was the stem? Were there those little things on the bottom of the apple where the seed opened up? Did it have variations of color? What did it taste like? What did it smell like? How heavy was it? Right? There's so much we can do to awaken our imaginations. So, this is what I invite you to play with on your own time. Just play with this. If you really want to start waking up your imagination, imagine something and then imagine it in great detail, like the most detail you can. And if you have difficulty visualizing or seeing images, no issue. You can always play with the visualization technique of looking at something physically, memorizing it, texture, weight, all of those things, colors, and then close your eyes and try to imagine it. All right. So now that we've done a little imagination wake up game, let's dive into our experience. So take out your journal or your pad of paper and start to write down everything you feel grateful for right now. I find this to be a very important part of my conscious creation practice is to start with gratitude. So just start writing down everything you feel grateful for. Maybe you feel really genuinely grateful for this moment together, or for your body, or your partner, or your apartment, or your home. Just write them all down, your cat, your dog, your fish. Write down everything you feel grateful for. Lovely, as you wish. You might find it powerful to write down for this one. Write words if you wish, but as you wish. It might also be give you more time, Richard. As you wish. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I'm still hoping that Insight Timer will come around to giving us a way to be able to play music and have it sound good quality. I wish I could be playing music for you right now while you journal, but it just always sounds distorted. Everything you feel grateful for in this moment could be something little like the shape of the cloud out your window or the feeling of the blanket on your lap. We'll be here for just a few more moments. And maybe even feel a smile on your face as you write these last thoughts of gratitude down. A sweet smile that you offer to yourself. Ah, great. And now, for the sake of your heart, for the sake of awakening imagination, for the sake of reminding your mind that more is possible than what you think, start to write out what you are wanting. Just start with one thing and write it as if it's already happening. Not like it's going to happen someday or you're afraid it will never happen. For example, in this situation that I'm navigating, where I'm in this limbo between these two big life changes, rather than staying stuck here and feeling like, oh, I don't know, what's the best thing? I don't know which one I should choose. Just to choose one and see the very best outcome. See, it's like I'm calling my power to me on a metaphysical level, an esoteric level. I'm calling my power to me when I claim something. When I say, this is what I want, this is what I'm deciding. We're going beyond choice here. I decide this. And right now, this is not about figuring out the steps of how to make this happen. Choose, decide, get clear on what you want, and then write it out as if it is already happening. So for me, I'm in this limbo. They're both great options. I feel afraid. I'm going to practice just choosing one. And I'm going to write out everything in great detail of how amazing this situation is. Yes, Rosita, this is what many of us feel often, and this is why we get stuck. Rosita shared, I'm scared if I choose incorrectly. Absolutely. So, this is it. This is an opportunity to practice, to play with, empowering yourself to make a choice, and then seeing, writing out now your choice as if it is the very best thing. Okay. So this is practice, my friends. So, for example, let's say something that you really want, someone said to travel, right? So, I want you to write out this experience as if it is already happening and write it out in detail about how it's the best time of your life. I'm with my best friend and we're backpacking through the something something mountains, and we have our favorite hiking boots on, and the weather is like this and the clouds are like this, and we feel so happy and we feel alive, and the wind is cool on our skin, but the sun is warming our hearts. I want you to get really detailed about whatever it is you're writing out. Write what you want as if it is happening now. Don't worry about the how. Go for it. Yes. Every little detail, my friends. Awaken that pleasure inside, and I'll join you. We're going to be here for about 5 more minutes before we add on a little more. So just take your time. Be generous with this. And if you feel like you've written every single detail you possibly can, write some more. Who's with you? What are you doing? How good does it feel? I'm starting mine with I am overjoyed, dot, dot, dot. Yes. And if you come to the point where you really feel like you're complete, then write on something else. Monica, we're journaling on writing out something that we want in our lives as if it has already happened. And we're really getting very specific with all the details possible. Great, Erin. So keep writing in your journals. We'll come back to sharing together as a group. But I want you specific, like Davy is saying, I wake up with energy every morning. Go beyond that, Davy. I wake up feeling full of energy and joy. My skin is tingling with aliveness. My organs are full of vibrancy. My mind is clear and I feel grateful for the day and ready to jump out of bed and have a dance party. Play with this, my friends. Get specific. And let this be fun. Let this be playful. Let this feel good at least. Wow, I'm opening myself to something new. I've been stuck in fear. I've been stuck in worry. I've been stuck thinking I'm alone or something isn't possible. I'm letting my heart expand and my imagination expand right now. Go beyond the limitation. Yes, you can do this. I believe in you. Keep going for it. Every little detail. This is your beautiful life. Are you going to let old thoughts and emotions of I can't, I won't, it can't determine your experience of life? Or are you willing to take a leap of faith and empower yourself to start thinking differently, feeling differently? Studies have shown again and again and again that the thoughts that we think determine the emotions that we feel, and the thoughts and emotions that we have determine our behavior. So if I think I'm a failure, then I'm going to feel the emotions of someone who feels like a failure. And because of that, I'm going to behave like a failure. And before you know it, I'm living the way I think I am. But if I believe that I am powerful and I'm confident and I'm beautiful, that's going to determine my emotional state. And I'm going to act and embody that power and that confidence and that beauty. And then I am someone who is powerful and confident and beautiful. It starts here. It's not overnight transformation, but it does start here. That can't be reality, Rosita. Keep writing. And actually, continue writing. But if there's someone who's really stuck, like you can't even get a few words on the page, go ahead and share with me in the chat and we'll do a little work together. If you're feeling really stuck on this exercise, let's work together. Hi, Linda. Hmm. Mm, lovely. Okay. How does it feel to be focusing on thoughts like this? Share in the chat. How does it feel to be focusing on these kinds of thoughts? Huh, amazing. Yeah, we'll get to that, Rosita. Empowering. How does it feel to be thinking in this way? Uplifted and positive. Thank you, Erin. Happiness, abundant, a little scary, but more hopeful. Yeah. Excited. Yeah. Great. Feel free to keep dropping them in, but we'll start to move on. So let me ask you this, my friends. Do you feel different right now just thinking differently? I'm very happy to read that, Richard. Do you feel different right now just thinking a little differently? Right. Yes. And for some of you, you might be in a funk today, right? Or you might be having some difficulty really letting yourself open to this. And that's okay. That's totally okay. Yeah, there's no one way to have an experience. Sometimes we're just, we're processing something and it's not easy to access this. But I promise you, if you use this kind of an exercise regularly, you will have an experience that, reflects what other people have been sharing. So, yes, we feel differently. And what did we say at the beginning of this? Your thoughts and emotions. e- De- did I see emotions? Emotions. Your thoughts and emotions determine your quality of life. Tony Robbins says your emotions determine your quality of life, and the thoughts are part of that experience. Yes? Oh, awesome, Chris. Our thoughts and emotions determine our quality of life. So, right now, tell me this. If you had thoughts all day long like this, and just give me like an emoji, like a thumbs up or thumbs down. If you had thoughts like this all day long, would you feel happier in your daily life or less happy? If you had these kind of thoughts, more happy, less happy. If you felt happier in your daily life, would you feel more confident to create what you want or less confident to create what you want? If you felt this kind of more uplifted happiness on a regular basis, the way you do right now, would you feel more confident to create what you want or less confident? All right. Yes, we're getting where this is going, right? You have the power right now to create your beautiful, enriched, fulfilling, joyful, love filled life. And it's not dependent on when the things you want happen. And I won't go into this deeply today, but there's actually part of your brain. This isn't just like a nice, mindset exercise here. This is actually rooted in neuroscience as well. There's part of the brain called the reticular activating system, or the RAS. And part of the function of this part of the brain is that it acts as a filter. I know many of you are familiar with this now, yes? It acts as a filter. So if I have a belief inside that says, I'm all alone and I can never really have what I want, this part of the brain, the RAS, will actually show me that to be true. It will filter in the information that's in alignment with that belief, and it will filter out the information that is not. So, for example, let's say that I have this belief that I'm all alone. But then there's somebody at work or on the street or at my home who comes and sits with me and says, "Hey, how are you? I've missed you," or "I'd love to spend more time together. I really want to be here for you." Your brain will find a way to filter out that experience and say, "Yeah, they didn't really mean it. It's not really true. It can't be true. They don't really care about me." Your brain will not only have you think thoughts to try to push that experience away, it will literally filter things out sometimes to the point where you don't even notice them. You will have something come into your sphere that is the opposite of a belief you hold, and your brain will filter that out. You will not even know that it happened. This is the power of your brain, the power of your mind, and the power of your beliefs. Maybe sometime soon we'll do a workshop on beliefs because this is such powerful work for our evolution and our freedom and our enjoyment of this amazing, precious, powerful life. Yes. Um, yeah, Angela, kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So a very cool thing about this filter, though, actually, as well, is that it can actually it is, not can. It is part of the mechanism within us to create the life that we want. What I mean by this is, again, the reticular activating system, it takes a belief, it decides that belief is important because that's the belief that we hold. It doesn't decide, it just says, oh, this belief must be important because it's what you believe. I'm trying to come back because I don't want to take us off on left field about how how it functions. The information that it filters in will also show us where to go. So for example, if I keep telling myself, if I keep writing in my journal every single day, like what we did today, let's say that I write out about traveling, right? We'll come back to that example. If I keep no, I'd like to use a different example because I know many of us feel the sense of like I don't know what to do, right? Some of us feel limited, some of us feel like straight up like I don't know what to do. So, If I have the thought, I don't know which one to choose, will it even work? I don't even know what steps to take for either one. Then I'm going to be stuck in this limbo. I'm going to be stuck in a lack of confidence, self doubt, fear, trepidation. I'm going to be stuck, right? But if I take time every single day to write out the decision that I've chosen and what how it looks and how great I feel. Oh, I love it. I chose this and this is what my life looks like. This is where I am. This is how I'm living. I feel so great. Here are all of the details. The more that I write that down every day, the more that I visualize that every day, the more that I have thoughts about that every day, the more that I feed those emotions every day, the more it is establishing in my subconscious mind that this is true. Because the mind does not differentiate between something that has actually happened or fantasy. That's why your body responds to a fearful thought as if it's happening, even if it's not. So, your mind doesn't know when you're planting a seed of something you want. It doesn't know if it's real or not. So, it takes it as reality. So, if I spend every single day, take some time to write out this amazing life that I've created in my imagination. The reticular activating system, that filter, will actually show me the way. I don't have to know all the steps. I don't have to figure it all out. This part of the brain will say, oh, well, this thing that I've been seeing in my mind every day for the last 3 months of being on the beach at this time with these people, it must be true because I keep seeing it. And it's now rooted in my belief system because I spend so much time thinking about it. So it will say, oh, well, to spend the time at the beach, you need to have a plane ticket. And to have a plane ticket, you need to have money. Your brain will literally start to pave the path for you. And we're just talking about the brain. We're not even talking about other things like your spiritual guides and your beautiful power of your creative mind and your higher self and your soul, if you want to go there. If you believe in things like this, you have a whole realm of spiritual support supporting you when you put your attention on what it is that you want. And at the very least, if this all just went like this, at the very least, you know through today's experience that simply focusing on this beautiful life creation for yourself for 5 minutes can drastically change how you feel. So that even if you don't have what you want right now, you sure as heck feel a lot better in your day to day life experience. Ah, I know we just went a couple minutes over. Thank you so much, my friends. Thank you. May this technique serve you profoundly in your life. May your commitment to your own self serve you profoundly. May your commitment to your joy, your expansion, your freedom serve you deeply in your life. And just to kind of bring this home, a way that you can make this part of your daily life, something that I really like to do, have your journal, have the place where you write things out. Choose to write out every day. Choose a specific time, maybe like right when you wake up or when you sit down to meditate or before bed. Choose a time each day that you're going to spend writing in your journal on this specific thing. And get a new journal if you can. Start fresh and start each entry by writing down at least 3 things you feel genuinely grateful for. Genuinely grateful for. At least 3, maybe more, maybe 10. And then choose one thing that you're wanting and write it out in great detail. Now, some of you know that I have another practice where I'll write out like 5 to 10 things that I really want, and I write them out as if they've already happened, but just like a sentence. I invite you to play with your own power of creation. Choose 1 or 2 things each time you journal. And like we did today, write it out in great detail and see what happens. Be amazed at the power of your brain, the power of your imagination. Be thrilled by your own creative power. You are so magnificent. Absolutely, Rosita. Thank you, my loves. I'll stay on for just another minute in case anyone has some final words they'd like to share, and then we'll come to a completion in just a minute or so. Ah, so juicy, you know? I mean, and again, sometimes it feels difficult to do this work, and that's okay. We don't have to beat ourselves up on the days that it feels difficult. But here's another key, come back to it. Do this technique even when you don't feel like doing it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your donations. I'm very grateful for your support. And we'll be together again. We have our yoga asana session tomorrow. I cannot believe it's Friday again. I'm just like bonkers. Um, and and then next week we'll be back to our regular schedule. So Tuesday asana, Wednesday we'll be together for a session like this. Friday yoga asana again. You can find my schedule on my profile page, as well as a website to stay connected and so much more. Yoga is on Tuesday. It is at, see, the time just changed, 2 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. And on Fridays, it is at 3 p.m. Eastern. Tuesdays, 2 p.m. Eastern. Fridays, 3 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Thank you. So grateful. I'm so grateful. So grateful. And I've got some new courses in the works for you. It'll be some time before they're released, but I'm thinking of you and loving you and creating with your well being and expansion and love in mind. Okay. You're so precious to my heart. I love you. You are me. I am you. We are life. We are love. Mm. Enjoy. Enjoy your conscious creation. Love you, love you, love you.